thank you for taking the time to watch this best practice. This best practice is about, documenting the temperature when making deliveries of, a cold or frozen product like ice cream or meat, to demonstrate that the product was indeed delivered at the perfect temperature, right? This is super important in the reefer trucks, when you're, in cold storage, when you're transporting all these, frozen items, right? I mean, ice cream, meat, we've seen a lot of this, we have a major, frozen bakery, brand, right? They use a lot of these reefer trucks, and they're making deliveries, and we have a bunch of cold logistics companies that we work with, right? So how do they make sure that, hey, how do as a driver, as a a delivery person, that you are making delivery to that specific warehouse, how do you make sure that, hey, if they come back and dispute or something, you can show proof with the load proof that, hey, the product was delivered at the right temperature, right? So this is, and we work with a lot of these reefer trucks, and they're all loading and they're all documenting, the condition. And one important, thing while they're doing that is the temperature, right? The temperature is super important. All these reefer trucks have the temperature gauge. So this is how it looks like. So I will use, this is the, let's say this is the reefer truck, and they're loading all these pallets, and there is a reefer gauge, right? So this is the reefer truck, let's say, and then they have, these pallets that they're loading, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is usually buckets of ice cream, and we have seen, meat. We have seen, frozen bakery products, a lot of food products, right? Sometimes even chemicals, right? Sometimes we've seen chemicals as well. So when they do it, there is also a gauge, right? There is also a gauge that shows the temperature here. So this one, shows the temperature, right? This one shows the temperature, and we have, a lot of customers, that document this temperature with photo. So and actually, there is a whole process that's involved when they, document these. Let's say, for example, a simple example is ice cream. Jenny's ice cream, right? I mean, when they document the condition of the product and demonstrate that, hey, the product was perfectly loaded at the right temperature. You don't want ice cream to melt, right? You don't want ice cream to melt, and you want all that intact. So what they do is they take photos of the truck, hey, and also another important thing when they're doing this food, handling these food products, is cleanliness, right? Cleanliness is super important. And you have to demonstrate cleanliness, or they could get in trouble later, with FDA and things like that. What if there is a salmonella outbreak, right? We hear that sometimes, and somebody missed something and that happened. So that's why this is super important. So they capture photo of the clean truck, and then they load a few pallets, and then they say, hey, the truck is 25% full, then 50% full, and then 75% full, and then 100% full. They do all that, and while doing that, also capture the photo of the temperature gauge to show that, hey, this is the temperature at which it was loaded, right? And not only that, so that is at the time of departure. They can also do the same thing at the time of delivery as well, right? And we have something called load proof extend, and you can tie all these photos together, and that is another best practice to prove two things. One is, hey, the product was loaded here in perfect temperature, right, when the stuff was loaded into the reefer truck, and then also when the driver made the delivery at the a customer's warehouse at the destination point, he can also capture photos of the temperature gauge at the time, and then prove that, hey, not only the product was loaded, and also it was delivered at the right temperature. So there is no dispute, right? This is super important because the food and the frozen items, right? I mean, especially in summer, you try to do this, something happens and it's a complete mess, right? I mean, if ice cream melts, or the ice goes away from the meat, I mean, right, it's a complete mess. Same thing with the frozen bakery as well. And there are a lot of sometimes there are chemicals that they're being shipped. Sometimes there are some really sensitive chemicals and life-saving medicines that is shipped as well. Pharmaceuticals, we have customers that ship that pharmaceutical products that they ship as well. That's all life-saving, and it's got to be delivered within certain temperature. Sometimes there is a special wrapper around that whole pallet, right? We have seen that. So that's another best practice, to document the temperature also along with the condition of the product, to ensure that the product is delivered in perfect temperature, right? So that's So you can not only it was shipped and it's also delivered. So that is another way to demonstrate that was done, and you can capture photos and upload through LoadProof very, very quickly, and share that with anybody and everybody. So that makes you, not only that makes you look good, makes the shipper look good as well. So hopefully this was helpful. If you run into any of those temperature disputes, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. And always, please share your feedback, and we'll go from there. Thank you.